Good morning, everybody. I have two people here that have gone to the center school many years back, and we brought them in today so that they can tell us some of their stories for other people to hear. So I'd like to, first of all, ask, and we'll start with the lady first. Would you mind telling us um, when you went to the center school and for what grades? And give us your name too.
Janet Toshak, and I went to center school, first grade only. So I don't remember a lot, but there was some things I remember, and one of them, I think it was the first day of school, and Mrs. Scott said, "Trace your name on the blackboard," and I went up and erased it. I thought she said erased it. I got it off in the wrong book.
All right, would you introduce yourself, please?
Alden Elsley. I went first and second grade here. I'm gonna say 40, 47, 48 maybe. We went to Beckwith school in 49. I don't remember a lot about being. I really don't. I remember Mr. Scott real well. One of the teachers I remember more than any other teacher. She was a great lady. And I know,
Alden, can you remember approximately how many children were in your class and in your room, and also what were the grades that you shared?
grade 1 and 2.
Okay,
I believe it used to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And
okay,
they got it to 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure that's the way it was. And I don't think it was. So when you left it, were you going to be going to grade 2 here?
Grade two, just 1 and 2. We were in one
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
one room. And do you remember what was on the other side? Right now, this building has what we would consider two classrooms. What was on the other side, do you
It
know?
was
Open.
It was open.
Only one room.
That was
Okay,
right.
oh, it was, so there was
Yeah.
no
Only one room.
segment, okay.
You had the entries, the cloakroom for the girls, cloakroom for the boys.
Yep,
And then between was the closet where the teacher kept all the supplies. And then the rest was all one big room.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, so you don't remember it ever being two separate rooms?
No.
That's
They did that whenever they used it for afterwards. It was closed for years, and the police station, I think, maybe.
Right, police station,
First, then they did community something here.
family mediation
Yeah.
center for like, I think, 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you, Janet, do you have memories at all of your teachers' names?
Just Mrs. Scott,
Mrs. Scott.
and then Mr. Yetton later. Everybody else is one guy was, he was Merchant Marine.
Mr. Murray,
Mr. Murray, thank you.
yeah.
He taught us for 1 year, and then he said, "The heck with it," and went back to the Merchant Marine.
Oh,
That
interesting.
was it.
That was it. That was it. He was a teacher. He'd rather be a Merchant Marine than a teacher.
So he actually taught here and.
No, that was the Rockville School.
Oh, okay,
There was
okay,
just one teacher here, Mrs. Scott.
okay, all right,
And she went to Rockville from here.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Have any of you stayed in touch with any of your classmates? Either one of you that you can think of?
Not really.
That was a thought that came to mind. Okay,
No, I haven't. No, really. I've seen I've met a couple since then. You know, they
Yeah.
stopped in to see me
yeah,
because there's one was Tennessee or something, but to stay actually in touch, no.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Do you have any memories? You were talking before we started videotaping about some of the memories that you remember from back then. Was there a bathroom here at the time?
Just that thing out
Good.
up in the back. One kid tried to set the place on fire. He set the wood box. He set the wood box on fire out in the
Yep, I remember that.
yeah.
And what happened?
Oh, you got it. Probably somebody saw the smoke and,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, is that
Yeah.
funny?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And we were talking earlier that a couple of the brothers that were here, they used to lock the teacher in the closet if they got a chance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to find out today because Mr. Yetton, our teacher when I was 7th grade, he told us every class before mine claimed that they were the ones who did it, but only one class could have. So just enough yours,
So-
boys.
That was never resolved, that to your
I
knowledge.
just found out today.
Oh,
I'm so happy, and I could have found out a long time ago because one of my relatives knew them.
Oh.
Asked them.
how did you find that out?
I asked.
Oh,
The third thing I asked, funny out front. Who? Well, it's Mrs. Scott and it's a wine closet.
oh, is that funny? Oh, my goodness. So you had electricity, but you didn't have heat,
Nope.
right?
Well, it was
So
a
all
wood
the,
stove.
can you talk about how they kept that going and everything?
Well, it was a pot-belly stove in the back of the room. And it was fed by wood, which they kept in the woodshed, and that's, he said they kind of like the woodshed on fire. Which was right behind, it was the first room in, I think, on the left, and then the bathrooms were behind it.
Okay. Did you have siblings that went to the school? Any siblings? No, none.
No younger than me. So. she was
Okay.
Rocco.
Okay.
So
And what about you, Oliver?
I had a sister and brother. Now, that's when I think it was 4 grades. My
Here.
sister was 9 years older, and my brother was 5 years older.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was that, because at the academy, there was downstairs was whatever grades through 8th, and upstairs was high school.
Yes, I knew them.
Which my older sister spent 2 years there before they closed it.
Okay. Okay. So my understanding at some point was this building had 2 rooms, and one room was for the lower elementary grades, like 1 through 3. And then the other side was like a middle school or a junior high school.
Going back a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my understanding was they rented a room over at the private Atkinson Academy for those middle grades
Okay.
at some point. But yeah, I keep learning a little bit more and a little bit more reading the town reports. That kind of helps me to figure out some of
To me,
the questions.
Another
Yeah.
20 years to get that.
Definitely.
More. Yeah,
Definitely.
For us, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
So, you went to the Rockwell School,
Yeah.
and did that become the school for the whole town? Because
Oh, yeah.
by the time you were here, this was the only one-room schoolhouse that was open.
Right.
The others had shut
Plus the
down.
academy, which was private, but the
Yeah,
town used it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But the town didn't use it maybe for the students.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
To leave.
they didn't use only maybe one room at one point.
That's gotta be way back before my
Yes,
sister.
I think so. I think
But
maybe.
I know when I was, little, in there, and what however many rooms there were downstairs, they were using it.
Right.
Okay. Well, I don't know when they might change.
And for the listeners, it's interesting, they're still using the bottom floor of the old academy building still. The upstairs, they're not, but it exists for the children to see. Yeah, that old 1804 building and to go through that.
The whole idea though, when 49 there, the state condemned that school, told them they couldn't have kids anymore. That's what got everything moved, well, probably before that, maybe 47.
Right.
That's why they built the school,
Right.
and then the kids, high school, they had to go to Haverhill or Kingston. High school.
Sanborn Seminary.
Or Haverhill High.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you find your own transportation back then.
Yeah.
No buses.
Interesting.
The first 2 years, after that, they rode on the bus. My junior and senior years, they did have a bus going down.
So
The
Did
first
they?
two,
Really?
yeah, the first two was they were on.
So that brings up an interesting question. How did you get to school for first and second grade here?
What?
I was only on Maple Avenue. Wasn't too far.
But weren't other children all over the town coming here?
I don't know.
Because according to what I've tried to figure out, the others involved closed at that point. The one on East Road, the one on Maple Ave, they weren't
Oh, that's
existing.
long before that.
Okay,
Long.
all right,
Yeah.
okay.
Because all the time Faz lived in the one on Maple Avenue. And I'm trying to think of the one across from Lewis Builders over there.
Right, and that's a home.
Up there.
That's a
That's a
home.
home. And the one down there was a home.
Okay, you're
If you
right.
come up Maple Avenue, the first house on the right
Yep,
used to be the school.
used to be the school too,
Right.
yeah. Okay,
Um,
very interesting. So, do you have any memories of, friends that went to this school and that you can maybe think of a story that goes along with that? What about recess? Tell me about recess.
Played out front, yeah, that was it.
Right on
Well, look at
what is now the driveway?
Yeah,
You
look
played
at
up
that,
there.
yeah.
Were there supervisors watching you?
Oh, I'm sure that the teacher stuck her head out the door to that and too much noise was happening.
There's only one teacher here, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
a committee watching,
Right,
watching all the kids.
and no teachers helpers either.
So this other person that has left me memories has said, I'm supervised. You just went out and played and nobody really
I
watched.
would say yes, yeah, yeah.
Because Mrs. Scott had that sometimes to herself.
Here's another memory from this person that wasn't able to come today. But she talked about how the teacher would walk up and down the aisles every day, checking to make sure your hands were clean and your nails were clean. Does that bring back a memory?
Yep, yeah. I think you had to have a handkerchief too.
Probably, I don't
If
know.
I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
yeah.
I'm not sure, we did.
You might have had to have a handkerchief on you.
I think we did.
Well, that's an interesting comment because we have the second grade that visits the Historical Society when they're learning about community buildings in town and everything. And we have a handkerchief on display upstairs in the Grange room. And I always ask those second graders, do you know what this is? And they don't know.
No.
So that's kind of funny. And I said, people call them hankies today.
They had no,
Yeah.
they had no Kleenex back then. Most people around.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So there was a bathroom here, so you could use a bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. What were the winters like coming to this school? That
I
had to
didn't
be,
get near, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, cold.
I mean, my house, until we finally got an oil furnace, we had an old wood furnace until it smoked. So the neighbor, we opened the windows one morning and the neighbors called the fire department. That's when we got an oil stove. Well, our house was cold in the morning anyway. We were
okay,
used to that sort of thing.
okay,
It wouldn't be like now.
okay.
Our house was cold in the morning, pretty much. My mother could have started fire. We had a furnace, but, yeah.
Well, Alden, tell us about what you remember about the pot-bellied stove and how you just kind of mentioned earlier before we started
Yeah.
taping, how they didn't keep this going at night.
No.
So can you relate a little bit how it gets going when you get?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm sure Mrs. Scott came in early.
Okay,
And started it before we got here. Somebody did, so it's probably her,
okay,
their job.
all right,
And it was a decent sized one. It wasn't big, but it was a decent sized one. And you just got it going. How you got it going? I don't know. But
all right. So can you speculate what happened at the end of the day?
well, when she went home, they just closed it up. I mean, wood stove, you just close the drafts and everything, and we walk away.
Okay,
It damps down. Then we have no pipe.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Just seems kind of strange that you maybe leave it still running, but
I'm sure it was running down, but
yeah, okay,
it wouldn't be roaring when she left, I'm sure.
okay.
Like you said, once you close all the drafts on it, it gets no air, you'll die pretty fast.
Okay.
Might stay warm, but you'll die pretty fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, where did you walk to school from, Alden? Where were you living at the time?
Stage room.
Stage Road.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad.
That's about,
Half a
from my
mile.
house to Rockwell School was 9/10 of a mile.
Okay.
Well, it's a little less here.
All right.
When I went to third grade, the buses, and you had to be 1 mile, or they wouldn't pick you up.
Okay.
So they went over one more rise on my street, they picked the kid up, but they wouldn't pick
Yes. And I grew up in the city.
Yeah.
And you had to be 2 miles away to get
Okay.
a bus. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So Janet, where did you live when you were coming here?
On Maple Avenue. So it's only up where Rockwell's, beside Rockwell's.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're
So
gonna be
that
about
was
half a mile, right?
Yeah. And then when Rockwell School opened, it was only a few houses up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that made it much easier.
That was much easier.
Okay.
We
So,
did have a monitor that told us, you have to walk on the right-hand side of the road facing traffic.
okay,
And the orange would make sure you were on the proper side, you know, going and coming.
Assigned seats.
Assigned, not assigned walking,
Oh, okay.
because we didn't
Okay.
have sidewalks, so we
Okay.
have sidewalks. And that's what you're supposed to do.
So can you remember if somebody lived way away, far away, like Lower Main Street or even up by Island Pond Road, how did those children get to school?
I'm not sure.
You don't know.
You know, somewhere along the way, Warren Wright lived in town. He had what you call like a minivan, a little bigger than a minivan. And he had something to do with taking kids. And I don't know what that was all about and when that started. So I'm not sure.
And I have read about Ward Wright doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, it must be maybe in a town report or
Yeah,
something.
probably, yeah.
So, but maybe he brought kids from far away. Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know whether, I mean, Conley Road, which is probably the furthest area, right? I don't know how those kids got here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I have one in mind, because, I think it's Maggie Boys behind me in the middle, it was ahead of me. And I think they lived up there, that area. I don't know how they got it.
And now that you say that, this other person that was planning to be here and couldn't come,
Yeah.
one of her comments to me was, for lunch, if you lived a certain distance away, you could stay here and eat your lunch. So, but did you two go home for lunch where you were
I didn't.
closer?
I did.
You did go
I
home
did,
for
and I
lunch?
remember the first time I came back late. I was lonely, you know, it was a ways, I was first grade, I wasn't too quick, I came back late, but I did get back.
Okay, so you did.
And I
go
got
home.
with the program, you know, you have to eat your lunch quick and get back.
And me growing up in the city, we always went home for lunch.
Did you?
Yeah, and we had like an hour and a half.
Oh,
We went to school from 9 to 12 and then 1:30 to 3:30.
really?
But you had time to go home for lunch. Yeah.
That was
I'm
lunch.
sure I brown bagged it or had a lunch
Yeah,
box most
okay.
of the time.
The first grade, I think I went home, and then after that it was lunchbox.
It was what?
Probably lunchbox. I
Yeah,
do remember
okay.
bringing lunchboxes at some point, but not every year.
But you had to bring your own. Nobody provided lunch for you like they do today. Okay. All right.
That was a big dream.
Tell us a little bit of your memory, because we talked about this outside. Somebody asked about music, and I noticed in the town reports, they always had a music teacher here. Can you kind of remember anything about that?
I can vaguely remember once a week somebody calling. But I'm and an art teacher also, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, I think there was an art teacher once a week.
interesting.
Yeah.
I remember only one time because I was supposed to be singing something and the music teacher was playing and I was up too high or down too low. We had to change key in the middle of the song. That's all I remember about the music teacher.
Interesting.
It's the wrong key.
All right, without using names, was there always somebody that was naughty in your class? And can you relay anything that you remember about that at all, without using a name?
Using names. No, just the kid who tried to set the place on fire, but he had an excuse for that.
What was his excuse?
He wasn't, what do they call it these days, mentally challenged.
Oh, okay.
That's why he was the one who set the place on fire, but it wasn't his fault. It was problematic because of the
Yeah, okay,
situation. So that wasn't a,
all right,
but that's the only one I remember really.
okay.
I
Interesting.
remember two brothers that they a lot of cane,
That's it.
and they were always trying to get the teacher to do something to cause problems. I can remember. What's out of that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I always wondered how they turned out.
That is funny. Okay, anything else that you can really think of that you'd like to tell people? Because this is going to be broadcast and probably be in our archives at some point, but any memory that just stands out to you that would be something you'd like to have people know about? What is your opinion about us trying to save this school?
Good luck.
Yeah.
I know, we've heard about all the grants, applications and everything and getting the city town fathers, I should say, to agree and all that. It's Well, I wish you luck, but right now, this place has changed so much.
Yeah.
It's, you'd have to do a major rehab to get it back.
Yes, definitely,
Definitely.
I don't know, I would almost guess, I don't know what's above that for a ceiling, but is it a tin ceiling?
It is definitely a tin ceiling.
Okay, all right.
And the Preservation Alliance, out in the hallway here has exposed a little bit of it so that we could see it. So definitely that's going to be a priority,
Oh, okay.
is to restore
Good.
that part. Yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's great.
good.
I'm very this historical stuff. I really like it.
It's important.
Yeah,
And
it is.
when you think about, that was probably 100-year era where a lot of towns had one-room schoolhouses.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
and-
yeah. Well, that's why they had so many of them, because there was no transportation.
Right, they had to go
Yeah.
to a neighborhood
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
Are they going to restore it to the one room status with the two entrances and a supply closet and? Or the two
Definitely the
status?
front, yes. I'm not sure about what we'll decide as to whether there'll be one or two rooms, because it actually was a schoolhouse for two
Right,
rooms also.
yeah,
So,
yeah, decide what
I
that
wonder
will go
when
back
that
to.
was.
Must
Must have closed it after we left.
right.
Well, that's really interesting.
Yeah, no, it definitely, in fact, this lady that was gonna, I don't want to use her name,
I know what you're talking
but she
about.
remembered the two rooms.
Really?
And the older people on one side and the younger on another, and then the middle group coming, that would have been, probably around 1939,
Yeah.
35 to
Yeah,
39,
right,
somewhere
yeah,
around there. I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So here's a couple ending questions, okay? One is, where did you go after you left the center school? Relay to us. It was Rockwell School, okay. And then beyond that, what did you do, both of you? Let's start with Janet.
That's Havel High School.
You went to Hazel High School. And what did you do, Alden?
Went to Havel High. Went
Havel High
to, well, went to Havel High. Yep.
Okay. And then my last question is, what was your adult life like? What did you do for a career, if you had a career? Alden.
I was in business for much night for 50 years. A.S. Tire in Atkinson.
Yes.
And I was in business 5 years before that in Havel.
Oh, interesting.
Total of 55 years.
Okay, and it was a repair
Yeah,
garage?
Tire business, really good place. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Janet, what about
And
you?
I went to the Western Electric, the same as many other people there.
Yeah.
Ended up a tester and retired early and I'm very glad of it. This
You're so right. So many people went to work at Western Electric.
Yeah.
I mean, they paid a lot of mortgages.
Yeah,
So,
it was a great place. Western Lunch, yeah.
right.
And Alden, where do you live now? What town do you live in?
Atkinson.
Atkinson.
Lived there all my life.
Okay. And Janet?
I live in Bradford now.
Bradford. So I hope the people that are watching have enjoyed this conversation and can find a time to show it to other people and spread the word that we're trying to restore this one-room schoolhouse again.
Great idea, and I hope maybe we told them something they don't know.
Right? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.